What's up, Blog Tribe? Pete here from Do You Even Blog. Welcome to part dos of my interview with Kate Ahl from Simple Pin Media. If you're looking for the beginner basics of driving traffic with Pinterest, I'll link to that video right here. That would be part 1. In 10 seconds, we're going to dive into Pinterest ads, Pinterest video pins, and then we're going to double back around for what's working right now to drive traffic to your blog from Pinterest. We're going a little bit more advanced. We'll talk about videos and we'll talk about ads. I've heard videos mainly for conversion stuff, whether you're like directly to an email opt-in or a free course or something like that. Is that true? Can you use video ads for traffic, or how do you suggest we use them?
Yeah, you can use them for traffic. You can use them for views too. So I'll say this. Pinterest video is a little bit like 3 to 4 years ago on Facebook when, we had the tasty style, like hand videos and people were sharing them like crazy.
Yeah.
And it was new. That's still where we're at with Pinterest. Is video is new, but it is being prioritized in the home feed and in the search feeds. So that being said, you want to think about less than 30 seconds, no sound. You can do square or you can do 2 to 3. But I will say that sometimes you can get high views. Sometimes you can get clicks. So it's still a little bit of trial and error, but I would say it's always teaser style. So if you just want to get people interested and then go from there, that's what your goal is with video pins right now. And it's because it is so new, again, it is a lot of trial and error. So give yourself a lot of patience to see what tends to resonate with your audience. I will say the talking head thing, going back to the faces thing, because there's no sound. Yeah. Don't do yourself talking. Like, you're not going to get a lot of good engagement. Yeah.
People can't see me right now, but I'm moving my mouth, but no one can hear me. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So if some people have even taken still images and they've kind of moved them, interlaid them and changed them out and everything for a short, like 10-second video that might get people curious. You could try that too. Play around with it, but don't just hold it up like Instagram and start talking.
Yeah. What about if you did that with, what's the word I'm looking for? Subtitles.
Oh yeah, captions.
Captions.
Not quite yet. I would say it's still going to be the catchy, poppy, you're just going to catch my eye, but you're not. Look through your feed. I'm going to say that too. Open up Pinterest, look through what's happening and what people are doing with video in your niche specifically. Search what you think people are going to be searching to find your blog content, and then look at what's popping up on Pinterest and see how people are using video.
Great idea, just in general.
Yeah.
For learning what type of pins to produce, probably, I'm assuming, what people are naming their boards. Okay, so what about ads? I heard from a few people over the past 6 months. I've even read some Pinterest ads myself. So are they hot right now? Are they not hot right now? Let's start with that, and then we'll maybe dive into some more specifics.
I'm going to say they're still, I think they're highly underrated. And here's why. People have had a lot of lead time when it comes to Facebook ads. They've learned how to use them. The CPC can be super low. And when it comes to Facebook ads, you're getting people very timely. You're getting them to take action quickly, right? Well, with Pinterest, again, people are like real slow. They're planning 3 to 6 months in advance. So when you run an ad, it takes a full week for it to be optimized and the algorithm to figure out where to put it and where it's going. So you can't actually make any changes in those first 7 days. Facebook ads, you can make a change in the first 15 minutes, right?
Yep.
So there's that element, and you have to do a very evergreen is the name of the game over there. It's not going to be if you have a Black Friday sale, you want to get it out the day before. It's going to be something where it's your constant email opt-in. It is a lot of evergreen content because you can take and you can run it over and over and over again. And here's the cool part too, is you have a pin that's on Pinterest right now and it just got circulating organically. I want to put some dollars behind it and promote it. When I'm done promoting it, it's still there. It's still getting engagement. Whereas something like Facebook or Instagram ad, you turn it on. you turn, yeah, it's done. So the longevity when it comes to a promoted pin is really great, just because it can still get seen. A lot to learn about them, but I think I highly endorse Monica Froese, who does Pin Practical. She has a great course, super data nerd. I love her because she digs in real deep on that. So that's where I send people as a resource. We do management for our clients here, but we don't teach a lot on them, just because I think they're one of those things that are so good, but you got to be ready to, you got to have that long game mindset again. I mean, all of Pinterest is the long game, but when it goes to ads, you really just have to be prepared. But you can get a great CPC on them.
So one of the things I would tell everybody for any paid reach, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or Google Ads for that matter, it doesn't matter. So many people, when they first start out, they are just like in the weeds, in the technical aspects, in Ad Manager, in the Pinterest Ad Manager, and they're worried about creative and they're worried about copywriting. It's like huge. And how do I get people to click here? How do I get them to convert? All this other stuff. And they miss the big picture of the ad campaign. Why are you running ads? What is, or even like putting themselves in the shoes of somebody who might click on the ad. What is this person looking for? What do they need? What do they expect when they hit the landing page? Like the overall goal of running ads. So many people like jump past that. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, I think another thing too is a lot of people come to us and we ask a lot of detailed questions before we manage for them. And we also will only manage promoted pins for conversions to sales, conversions to emails, or another particular type of conversion. We won't do it for traffic and we won't do it for an affiliate sale. And the reason being is those are really hard to track and get the numbers on to see if it actually converted. Whereas, if you convert to a sale or you convert to an email subscriber and you have a dollar amount assigned to that, to say an email subscriber is worth $5 to me. So I can spend $1 getting them.
Totally.
That's what we see a lot too.
So would you only promote, and by promote, I mean a paid promotion, would you only run a paid campaign for existing pins that are already doing well? Have you ever started a campaign from scratch with a couple of images to split test?
Yeah, I think you can do that too. About a year ago, I would have said no, but now with the changing landscape and how much better promoted pins are, absolutely. In fact, I think if you want to rank for something, promoted pins might be the way to get out there in the front of it, because you can just go straight into it. And then that initial pin can be both promoted organically and then turned back on to be promoted paid. So yeah, 100%.
Audiences versus keywords. So unlike Facebook ads, for example, like you can actually enter in keywords, targeting phrases, exact match keywords, or like broad keywords and all this other stuff. So how would you suggest testing audiences, or coming up with, or actually before that, should people test audiences? What should people test first? And where do audiences fall in line with that?
I would say number one would be a basic traffic campaign, because that means you're only paying for the clicks, and you would do exact match or even broad match keyword. I would start there before you go into the audience piece, because that's probably the best learning ground and training ground for that. But you can definitely do it if you want to down the line with lookalikes and retargeting and all of that.
Okay. So how many keywords would you suggest people put in there? Because you can literally just do one, or you could copy and paste in like 100.
Yeah. We've heard all over the map, but I would say 25-ish is a good place to start. And then what you can do as it goes along is you can remove them, or you can add them, or you can take them away. If you have one in there that's getting no engagement, take it out and then keep the ones that are in there and keep refining. We've had people who just do 10 and they're like really killing it. And some people try 50. Pinterest in the beginning said like 100 and then dialed it back from there. So yeah, go big or go home with that one. But you just don't have a lot to compare. Now you can do like one ad campaign with like different groups underneath. So you can definitely compare those and do like, this group has this 10, this group has this 10. But the goals of the campaign are still the same.
So the last thing I really wanted to ask you about here, Kate, is it's 2020. It's currently, April 9, 2020. We're in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. For better or worse, here we all are.
Right.
Updates. And I'm going to leave this very broad. You can talk about the January algorithm update. You can talk about you said a bunch of your clients have 2x, 3x, 10x their own traffic. What are some of the things that creators should be aware of right now? Recent changes, or in the next couple of months this is happening?
So I would say number one is that January is probably the most recent update and talking about the algorithm change. And what this really means is that they're trying to prevent the platform from being spammed by bots and by people putting the same thing over and over on the platform. So if there's anything you need to know about where we're at with Pinterest, it would be really up your game when it comes to images. And then really serve your person by giving them the content that they want and thinking about it creatively. Pinterest told us that in April, bread recipes that don't use yeast were up 4,400% in searches because yeast can't be found in the store. So there's this immediate need of what people are looking for. And this was a funny one too. I'll just share it. But in Italy, searches of inner thigh exercises were up by 132%. Who knows why? But it's getting also into the mindset of where people are at right now and what they need to solve their problem immediately, but that it can also be evergreen down the line. So you don't want to write too much in the pandemic piece, but Pinterest also just added last week this new, it's called the Today tab. And what they're doing is giving things people can discover today. We haven't heard too much about this algorithm, if it's recent content or older content, but we do know that it's definitely categorized to pull in just about 30 to 50 pins that are relevant for the category today. So just thinking about where people are at and seeing that Pinterest is becoming a little bit more timely. It used to be that it would take a while for things to show up in the main smart feed of any pinner. But now if they follow somebody, it's showing up pretty quickly, recent content. So that could play to maybe followers being more important during this time. But I think that's still the follower feed or the smart feed is still a combination of things people are interested in, people they follow, promoted pins, and potential future interests. So all that to say, when you go into Pinterest, just be think Google and think, what are my people looking for right now? And how can I serve them to get my people, to get new people, to get new audience members?
One other, I'm just going to ramble. It's my podcast. I'm allowed to ramble. One other tip I have is for people to think a little bit in the future, and more specifically, how people's lives have been changed almost permanently, or at least for the next several months. Nobody knows what the future holds right now at the time of this recording in terms of people's health, in terms of quarantine. This is all extremely timely. I don't know, maybe 2 weeks from now, it's completely different. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
But my guess is, and I think this is the guess of a lot of people, it could be smart to go ahead and plan out content that is going to be what people are looking for a week from now. For example, one easy one is the personal finance niche in general. They can already see the writing on the wall for a month from now, a couple of months from now, as bank rates go everywhere and there's 6 bajillion jobless claims and people are losing work and everybody's financial situation is in panic mode, some people at least. It's going to mean changes in the coming months. So when you're thinking about your content, try and be timely and relevant, but you can also look forward just a little bit and kind of meet them where they're at, a month from now or 3 months from now or stuff like that.
Yeah, I completely concur with that, and think, especially if anybody was in the online space between 2008 and 2013, 14, there was that big stretch of the recession just really stretching on forever, to where you could even go back to some of that content and look at what people were writing during those times, what they were telling people how to prepare. And even things like, how is the travel industry impacted, the wedding industry, the events industry. I think there's a great way for people to pivot during this time. I've seen lots of creativity coming out about even Zoom calls, all these people who are on Zoom now who were never there before, what to wear in a Zoom call, or, how to look at the camera. I just think there's a lot of opportunity. And what we've been telling our students inside our membership is just, if you're struggling with what type of content to create, ask your community, ask your readers, and then also go ask your business people. In our membership, we said, we want to brainstorm for you. If you're in the travel industry, here's our ideas. We're just going to pummel you with them, because we want to think creatively for you, because there is a way for the travel industry to survive if it pivots to serve people, from now until July. and ways to navigate the waters. I mean, I have a ton of canceled plane tickets and events and things I was speaking at, like
Yep.
there's lots of ways that your people need help. Ask them and then write that blog post.
And then put it on Pinterest. Well,
Mhm.
I'm glad you brought this back around to Pinterest because I was going to ramble a little bit. I'm pretty sure everybody in all niches can talk about something timely right now that could serve their audience. Anyways, that's my
Mhm.
little rant. One last question here, Kate. More specifically on the state of Pinterest marketing in 2020. Are the old school people at a disadvantage? And here's what I mean by that. I've heard from a few people who have historically, over the past 3-4 years, crushed it on Pinterest. We're talking like going up to like 100K, 400K, 500K visits a month from Pinterest alone. A bunch of people have kind of been asking, like, has anybody else's Pinterest traffic dropped off in recent months? Has anybody else's dropped off? Like, what's going on? Where are the changes here? Part of me was like, wait, are those people still pinning use of fresh content? Are those people still pinning like the same image like 50 times a day, or any other old school, I'm doing that in quotation marks,
Mhm.
are those old school people at a disadvantage because of any strategies that might have worked in the past?
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. I think the disadvantage is they have not adapted and they are still using an old strategy. So if we do a consult call from somebody who they were on High in the Hog in 2014, 2015, and they were getting 1 million visits a month, they're still doing the same thing. They still have a ton of group boards. They haven't updated any of their keywords. They haven't changed the branding on some of their old content, or maybe they're only pinning old content. Definitely. Even some of our clients who have adapted, they are seeing some decreases. And I think that's just a natural decrease from what we see with algorithms that were really wide open at one point, and now they're less because we have ads. That's natural decrease. But those that we've seen decrease dramatically are those who have not updated, not bailed on the group boards. You can still keep some group boards. I'm not saying that's not appropriate, but you go onto their profile and it's like, okay, you have 100 boards and 55 of them are group boards, 45 of them are their own. Nothing makes sense. It's like an old strategy. Yes, they are definitely going to lose their traffic. And Pinterest doesn't want you pinning the same thing over and over again from 2014. And so you do have to adapt to that. But now, especially during this time, a lot of those ones that have adapted and are creating new content are reaping rewards of new and old.
Sup, Blog Tribe, me again. If you missed part 1, I highly go back and recommend you watch that. Else I will also link right here to my 2020 blog content strategy. This is absolutely vital. If you're feeling a little unfocused and struggling to come up with a cohesive, clear strategy, go check out that video. Please consider subscribing. I love you guys. Thank you, YouTube, Blog Tribe. Adios.